Hi there, my name's Alison Reiner. I'm your Loved Again and Forever coach. I'm a member of Project Positive Change. I'm here today talking about the holiday period and how to survive it when your relationship is not exactly how you want it to be. More than that, you're maybe considering divorce or seeking advice come the new year. So a little bit about me before I start. I am a relationship coach. I work with women who are in that place where they're not sure that they want to stay married anymore, not sure that they even love their husband anymore. They're questioning, everything about their life and everything about their marriage, weighing up the pros and cons. Should I stay? Should I go? And really not making any headway. Because let's be honest, we didn't marry with the intention of getting out when things get tough. So it's not a decision that any of us make lightly, but unfortunately it's a decision that we make very much when we're in an emotional state, when our feelings are hurt, when there's anger, when there's maybe even betrayal in certain situations, and that's not really a great place to be making a decision on the rest of your life. So yeah, I work specifically with women who are in that place, and I get them to take a step out of the relationship, not physically of course, but putting the relationship and their husband to one side and really working on you and what it is that you want from the world, from life, from a relationship, not this one necessarily, but from a relationship. And with that information we can tie what's happening, what your current reality is, in with your desire. And it's much easier to get a clearer picture on how to move forward. And that's great. It works very well. By the end of their time with me, I often have, women often have decided exactly what they want to do, and it's a case of putting it into motion, whether that's transforming their marriage, going back in, reconnecting with their husbands, making some new ground rules, setting some boundaries that most likely haven't been in place at all, or getting to that emotionally resilient state that they can actually up and leave, but again in the most loving way possible, in order to minimise the anger, the hurt, the vitriol that goes with any separation. If you're working from a place of, I know this is right for me, and I'm doing it because I know if it's right for me, it's right for everybody, it's so much easier not to get dragged in, sucked in to the arguments and the infighting and my lawyer against his lawyer and all that kind of thing. So that's something to think about come January. But what can you do now? You're in this stage. Your Christmas is coming up. There's so much expectation. We've spoken before about not getting too busy, because a lot of the time we use this busyness as a way of avoiding thinking about our marriage, our situation. But how can you actually get through on a practical level the undertakings that you have? Because often you don't want to take your marital issues into the holiday celebrations. So what can you do? Well, first of all, talk to your husband. I know it sounds, I know that there's a lot of fear in that, because normally when I say that, the eyes go flying open. I can't do that. We haven't spoken for months. Every time we speak, we fight. He's not going to want to do it. He's not. Remember, your husband wants to be happy, just like you do, or your wife, depends who's watching this. Your husband, they want to be happy, just like you do. They come into the relationship full of love in their hearts, just like you do. They're not the enemy. It's very difficult sometimes to see them as anything other than the enemy, because it feels like they're the one that's making all the making the problems for you. They're the one that you're fighting against, but they're not the enemy. They're just mirroring the same unhappiness that you feel within you, and they're deflecting it back at you. So have that conversation. Let's put aside our differences for the sake of our family, the kids, for us as a couple. How can we, until the Christmas period's over, the holiday period's over, and then let's look at it together in January with a fresh set of eyes, and have a conversation around how that can actually happen, what it's going to take for you and for your partner to be able to show up and make the best of the situation without the backstabbing comments, the little passive aggressive comments, because it's all well and good having this conversation, but then if you're both needling each other in the background, that's not going to help at all. So what is it going to take, and are we both going to agree that we're going to work for the higher good of our relationship, out of respect for ourselves first and foremost, but for each other and for everything that we've created together. The other thing that is so important, because I know I can almost see your eyes on stalks at the moment, I'm not doing that, is somebody has to take the initiative. And if you're watching this, it's because you're invested in doing the right thing. You are looking for the right solution. So it makes sense that you should be the one that takes that sort of emotional leadership role and takes the first step, actually goes with your heart open and say, what can we achieve here? How are we going to make this the best it possibly can be? Maybe not the best Christmas yet, or the best Christmas ever, but how can we make it the best it possibly can be? And ask what it is that's hurting, upsetting your partner the most, and then listen to hear the answer. Don't listen to deny. Don't listen to be hurt or to be upset, but listen to hear and to believe. And if you take it as his truth, you can do something with it. You can work with them. You can then say, well, I'm sorry you feel like that. That was never my intention, if truly it wasn't your intention. If you can say that hand on heart. If it was your intention, you can also say hand on heart, yeah, I'm sorry, I was hurt and I was reacting. Because the honesty, the more honest you can be about your why, and the better it's going to be in terms of connecting. So it's a very, very simple, it takes a bit of courage, of course it does, because who wants to be the one that holds the olive branch? But who's the one that's watching? Who's the one that actually wants to make sure that the kids have a great Christmas, the parents have a great Christmas, and that actually you and your partner can have as good a Christmas as is possible, without falling into arguments, without falling into resentment, without falling into I've done all this and what have you done, which is very, very, it's very much part of human nature. It's what we do when we're hurt. It's what we do when we're feeling rejected. We start to lash out. So if you can actually take that step back now, you've got over a month before the next big event. But in the lead up, there's going to be lots of family interaction, lots of parties, lots of events that you're going to be turning up to as a couple. So in that time, or before that time, actually, get so busy that you're lost in the busyness of it, and there's no time to have the conversation. Think now, have that conversation, ask honestly, listen to hear, and ask, what can I do to make it better? When you do that, you're opening yourself up. Yes, you're being vulnerable because you're opening yourself up to taking some action, but you're also opening the relationship up for your husband or your wife to do the same with you. But the really important thing here is hearsay words, they are so easy. What you need to do after that is take action. So if you have committed to doing something to make your partner feel better, more comfortable, happier, then do it. Follow it through again and again and again. Be absolutely impeccable with your word. And what that allows is a bit of trust, a little bit of trust to be built up between you and your partner, and you'll find that you begin to feel the same level of respect in return. Maybe not immediately, maybe not through Christmas, but in the longer term you'll start to feel, because you've changed something in your relationship. You've taken a different stance. Now you may have done this before, you may have done it 1,000 times before, and I know I did it 1,000 times before I actually understood why it wasn't working. It wasn't working because I had an expectation. I did it because I wanted something back. I said all the right things because I wanted all the right things back. If you can do it without any expectation, if you can do it just out of love, respect, compassion for you, your partner, well, let's be honest, you spent a lot of time investing in, and your relationship as a whole, you'll see a result. So that's something really to help you navigate what can be a difficult time, especially when you are in the midst of busyness, in order to avoid thinking about your problems, and you've got that sense of, well, I'll leave it till January. I've got a list of other resolutions. I'll just throw this one on to the end. Don't leave it till January. Confront the situation now. Ask yourself and ask your partner, what can I do? What can I do to make this better? What can I do for you? Listen to the answer, and then undertake and go through the motion of actually doing what you promised to do. That change is so powerful. It's so powerful, and it's enough to start to change the dynamic in your relationship. But again, if you do it without expectation, who knows what's going to come back to you. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, you can find us all on Project Positive Change. Have a fantastic holiday season and a wonderful, wonderful 2018.